Hello there, ladies and gentlemen. Ambrose Blowfield back here again from the Sales Mastery Company. And it's my privilege today to talk about part one of a session. I'm going to do two-part sessions, one this week, one next week, in the build up to the upcoming masterclass we've got around building a successful and confident sales strategy for 2023. Now, what I shared today would apply to any strategy, whether or not that's a monthly strategy, quarterly strategy, or indeed a whole strategy for the year ahead. And in particular, I wanted to pick out on some of the most common mistakes we see for any sales team or arguably any business owner that we coach and train around the world when it comes to them putting in place a core strategy. Now, obviously at the Sales Mastery Company, our bias is towards sales teams, sales managers, and businesses where the business owner might be involved in sales in some degree. But arguably what I share today will apply to any leader of any team in any size of business, pretty much in any sector itself. These are the most common mistakes we see. And then next week, if you attend my live, I'll share some other common mistakes. And if you do get the chance, either flick us an email to admin@salesmasterycompany.com and ask for the link so you can register for the upcoming masterclass. It's a practical masterclass for you to literally work with your sales team to understand the fundamentals on three things for your strategy in the year ahead. Number one, what should our strategy be? Number two, what are the economic factors involved that might make resistance for our strategy? And number three, we'll teach you on that masterclass around the implementation checklist so you know how you can competently deliver that stress-free in the year ahead. Right. What are some of the things you need to keep in mind and mistakes that people commonly make? The first thing that I find for a lot of people that they get wrong around their strategy is they haven't fully identified in detail what success looks like. So what happens is you've got two or three leaders of a business. It might be a husband and wife and a brother-in-law who work together. And when we say to them, well, where do you guys want to be in a year's time? They're all aiming at slightly different goals. Now, if we look at a fundamental sales team, that typically means what is a turnover goal and what is the gross profit, whether that's dollars or euros or yen or pounds or whatever it happens to be. What is the actual measurable goal that we actually want to see as a result of this? So that's the first thing we've got to be clear about. Have you got alignment around the ultimate goal? Something as simple as turnover and gross profit combination is often what you need to do. The next thing I would say, particularly at a business manager, sales manager, or director level, is why is that the goal? Because if we've decided next 12 months, we're just trying to increase turnover by 20%. And then if I ask people, what's your reason for that? And they can't articulate that to themselves, then how are they going to be convincing to their team? If it's well, we always do 20% growth year on year on year. That's just what we do. Remembering it does get tougher as each year goes, as we build on a bigger and bigger base, there's more market saturation, for example, then if you can't answer that to yourselves, why are we doing that? If it's so we can tithe more, give more, invest more, so that we can have other people join us online, if we can have other people join us as customers, so we can move into new markets. If there's other reasons for it, then that, of course, is a wonderful thing. But if you don't know what the why is, then why do it? So you've got to get alignment at a manager or director level as to why that is indeed the goal. The next reason that a lot of people get obsessed about and get it wrong from a sales strategy or a business strategy perspective, I believe, is they look at way too many options. You know, there's this horrible expression I utterly dislike of, well, there's many ways to skin a cat. Why that expression came out, I have no clue. I don't think that gains anybody anything, because I'm not aware that people might skin a cat to actually use it as a form of clothing anyway. But the reality here is too many strategies. So one of the most common mistakes for people is they're not committed enough to too few areas. Again, one of the best books, I think, written in the world of business, there's a lot of YouTube videos for that, is The 4 Disciplines of Execution, written by 3 authors, one of whom is Sean Covey, the son of Stephen Covey. And they talk about that discipline. And one of the things they teach in that is how few battles could we target, as in how few strategies could we focus on to achieve the overall goal we're trying to achieve. I think a lot of sales teams think that they need to go after lots and lots and lots of opportunities, lots and lots and lots of different strategies to A, have confidence that they'll achieve the goals and outcomes, and B, because they're opportunistic by nature and therefore they want to say yes to a lot of opportunities, a lot of markets, a lot of sectors. And I'm sorry to say, but fundamentally that is wrong. If that's the case, then you might as well bring in the other old expression, which says, if you try to be the jack of all trades, you'll end up being the master of none. So I find a common mistake made by teams, particularly in the world of sales, is to adopt and be open to too many strategies rather than becoming a team who master 1, 2, or 3 core strategies to achieve their outcome. As we know in the world of account management, if you focus on all types of customers, you'll end up with all types of referrals. If you focus on the best types of profitable customers, you'll end up with more referrals from other people who are likely to be also the best types of customers who pay you top dollar for what it is that you do. So that's something I want you to acknowledge. Next up, I believe most sales teams and most business owners in the small to medium business sector don't understand business and economics well enough to consider external factors that may impact their business. So they don't think enough about competitive factors, or if they think about their direct competitive factors, they don't think about things like new entrants, something covered in Porter's 5 forces that I'll talk about in the upcoming masterclass. The other thing they don't consider is those pestle factors or those macroeconomic factors, either at a global level or at a regional or at a continent or state level, where they understand how might it impact us. As a result, what I find people doing is putting together strategies and over panicking about the risks and threats from outside, or putting together strategies and never once considering what might be moving in the wider sense. I must say I'm really deeply grateful, having done a bilingual business degree in international business. Whenever I'm helping people with sales strategies, or for that matter, when we used to help people with a lot of their marketing strategies, it's second nature to consider those macroeconomic factors, to not over or underreact to those factors. So that's another common mistake. We find people making their own decisions in isolation, not considering what might be changing in the marketplace. And I would tell you right now, in today's day and age, you better be aware of A, what will impact you or could impact you, and B, not to overreact to what will impact you. Now, I don't want today's topic to become some fantastic tirade about how people are so politically distracted by other things. But I have to say, from experience with 3/4 of our customers being in Australia and New Zealand, there were so many discussions where Donald Trump, in his first term as a president, was in power, talking about what he just said and what he just tweeted. And when I quizzed them and said, how does that impact you and your customers? And they'd say, well, not really at all. My response is then, well, why are you talking about it? It's outside of your sphere of influence. It's therefore should be outside of your sphere of care, and it shouldn't dominate the conversation I'm having with you around your local sales strategy. So again, understanding what could impact you and not getting caught up in the wrong things is very, very important. And then finally, and this is really, really important, just like I mentioned with the 4 disciplines of execution, our obsession at Sales Mastery Company isn't necessarily what people learn, and to some degree isn't even what you plan your strategy and goals to be. It's how disciplined are you going to be in implementing it. And I find what factors are in that which people overlook is they don't put enough effort into getting whole sales team alignment to the core strategies. And therefore, they've got team members that almost work against the system. If I don't feel like it's my goal, and if I don't feel like it's my plan, and if I don't agree with the strategy, I will basically be passive aggressive, and I will work, whether it is deliberately conscious or whether it is unconscious. I will resist what you're asking me to do. I will push back on what you're telling me to do if I don't feel aligned to it, and if I don't have a why that's aligned to that as well. So not involving your sales team is a classic mistake people make in the wonderful world of sales strategy planning. And likewise, if you're applying this to any other division, it would be the same. Not enough time and effort is put into implementing the plan, thinking about topics like accountability, and more importantly, starting to integrate it with the team. So getting full team alignment to the overall strategies. That buy-in, put effort in up front, means it'll be so much easier later. Now, one of my favorite authors in the world of business development and certainly the world of personal development is an amazing guy by the name of Jim Rohn. It's considered by many to be the precedent leader globally in educating people around getting more out of their life, more out of their families, more out of their businesses and their careers. And what he said is, in life, we always pay one of 2 prices. Either price of discipline up front, which in the case of strategy is getting team alignment and buy-in and commitment up front, or we pay the price of regret later, which in my case is people working against the system, people working against the strategy, people being tough to lead, tough to motivate, tough to hold accountable. But his policy was this: in life, you must pay one of those two prices. No one can avoid one of those two prices. That is the reality. So your job as a business owner, as a sales manager, as a division leader, maybe you just simply as a leader in sales team, even without the appointment or the job title, is to think about the alignment you get as a team ahead of the strategy, to think about a strategy that doesn't go in all sorts of different directions, but as a few core strategies, to think about the macroeconomic and political factors that might impact your business, as well as dismissing the ones that won't impact your business, and ultimately avoiding that Kiwi expression of, oh, she'll be right, mate, we'll just wing it and see what happens. Unfortunately, that is not a strategy. That is a hit and hope. It's the shoot across all areas and hope some of those strategies work. Some people refer to the expression of the throw mud at a wall and see what sticks. That is not a strategy. That is hope-based. And as any large casino building in the world will prove to you, given that most of their customers walk in with hope as a core strategy, hope does not work as a business strategy. It barely works as a life strategy short term, and it certainly doesn't work as a sales strategy. So think about the team alignment, think about macroeconomic factors, think about clarity of the vision and the goals, make sure you got full buy-in. And if you can, attend my free session in a week's time where I'll talk about other mistakes people make in the world of sales strategy. And if you can, also book in on the link, attend the masterclass with your sales team. Let us help you free of charge, implement a great strategy for 2023 and beyond. And as always, on behalf of the Sales Mastery Company, well done for watching this. I'm Ambrose. Be sure to take action.